grand passions.
You have to hold her, like you're gonna have your way with her, right here on the dance floor.
You all right?
Yeah, good. Bitter rivalries.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2004 romantic comedy drama Shall We Dance. The film is directed by Peter Chelsom and it stars Richard Gere, Jennifer Lopez, Susan Sarandon and Stanley Tucci. Now the film focuses on Richard Gere's character John Clark, who essentially is like an accountant sort of thing. He's got a very dull job. He kind of works at a company where, people, consolidate their wills and all this kind of stuff. And, he's living a fairly dull existence, but he's really quite happy at the same time in a lot of ways. He's happily married to Susan Sarandon's character. He's got 2 children that he adores, but his life has just turned into one big routine. And he's kind of sinking into himself, losing himself, if you like. And then one day on the way home on the train after work, he looks up and he notices a very lonely-looking character, Jennifer Lopez's character, Paulina, who works at like a dance studio. She's kind of gazing out, looking very, very lost. And he kind of makes a connection with her. She kind of looks how he feels in a lot of ways. And every day when he goes past on the train, he sees her again and again, and then he decides to get off the train. Take a risk, and he goes up to this dance studio and decides to sign up for a beginner's class for ballroom dancing. He's never done it before, but he decides to do something different with his life, and it's something that he really enjoys, he really takes to, but it's something that he keeps to himself. He doesn't tell his wife about it, but she thinks something's going on. She thinks he's having an affair, so she hires a private detective to find out what's going on. So he gets better and better at all this dance and all this kind of stuff, and he gets entered into the local dance competition. It kind of leads then eventually to a confrontation, not a confrontation, but kind of a consolidation, if you like, with his wife as to where his life has turned out. Right, what are my thoughts on Shall We Dance? Well, you might look and think, why is he reviewing Shall We Dance? This doesn't seem like the normal sort of film that he would review on this channel. And you're probably right. This is a film that on the surface I wouldn't touch with a barge pole, generally speaking. But also at the same time, it proves that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because I remember very, very clearly going to the cinema to see this, being dragged by my then fiancée. It was in 2004 and we got married in 2005, so we would have been engaged at the time, me and my wife. And she wanted to go and see this at the cinema, and I didn't. We had a routine where once a week or once a fortnight, I can't just remember, we'd go to the cinema and we'd just turn up at the cinema, we wouldn't know what was on, and then we'd just choose a film to watch. We used to drive to Huddersfield, which is about 9 miles from where I live in Halifax. And we'd go to that multiplex in Huddersfield and we'd choose a film to watch. And sometimes you get there and there'd be nothing on in particular that you wanted to see, and other times there'd be stuff you really wanted to see. And this one week, my wife chose this, and I'm like, oh no, I don't really want to watch this. Have to tell you guys, I loved it. After watching this in the cinema, I thought this was an incredibly charming film. And this is a film I found it in a charity shop on a Blu-ray, and I bought it, and I said to my wife, oh, we're going to watch this tonight, a bit of nostalgia. And we did. We watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it again. It's just a lovely, lovely film. So much charm. It's funny at the same time. I mean, genuinely funny. I think Stanley Tucci, who is fantastic anyway in pretty much everything he does, but he's just wonderful in this film. He plays a character called Link, who works in the same building as Richard Gere, and everybody thinks he's the sports guy. He's always shouting and screaming about sports and things like that. People think he's a real alpha male, but in reality, he hates sports, and he loves ballroom dancing. And when he goes ballroom dancing, he puts a wig on, and he puts false teeth in, he puts fake tan on, and he looks terrible, but he can really, really dance. So you see not just Richard Gere's arc and journey in this film, you see other characters' arcs and journey, and every one of them, generally speaking, you're interested in. Every one of the characters that we're introduced to in this film, you feel a connection to. They've all got their own little stories going on in the film, and they're all given the attention they deserve. So it's not like a one-man film, this Richard Gere. Yes, he's the main focus of the film, him and his family, and his wife, and his children and things, but the other characters at the dance studio all get their moments to shine, and that's what I like about this film. It feels like a real character piece in many, many ways, and it's very, very uplifting too. There's some fantastic dance in here as well. It's got a great conclusion to the film, like the competition, you know what I mean? A good film like this needs to kind of have that at the end of it, sort of thing, some kind of goal to aim for, and the competition at the end I think is just brilliant, and you get your cringe moments here as well in the film, which is just kind of thing the film needs. The odd cringe moments, you get the real punch in the air moments here and there in the film as well, and there's a real heart to this film. And it's based on, it's actually a remake of a 1996 Japanese film of the same name, which I haven't seen. And I suppose many people would say the Japanese version is better, but I can't comment because I haven't seen them. But I think this is, as remakes go, I suspect a fairly solid one. You know what I mean? It's made, like I say, with some real affection. It's well written. Like I say, the characters are nicely rounded in there, and you do end up rooting for many of them. And Jennifer Lopez as well, who obviously was a skilled dancer going into this and didn't need an awful lot of training. She's great as Paulina, who's got her own tragic story, if you like. So she's on a journey as well throughout this film. Initially, she's quite cold towards Richard Gere because she thinks he's only there because of her. And he's got a thing for her, which he kind of does really. He's kind of infatuated with her at the beginning because she's what drew him into the dance studio. But he would, at the same time, he would never have an affair or cheat on his wife because he loves his wife too much. So everything here kind of works. Even the private investigator that he's kind of investigates what Richard Gere's up to is brilliantly done and brilliantly played. And quite a lot of fun as well. It's one of those films that you can just put on, and it's like putting on a comfortable pair of slippers. It's really easy to watch, really uplifting. It'll make you smile, it'll make you laugh, and occasionally, depending on who you are, you might even shed a tear here and there. So if you've never seen Shall We Dance, I promise you, if any of what I've said sounds interesting at all, give it a go. I'd be very, very surprised if you were disappointed. I think it's a lovely, lovely film, and it's a film that I would probably have never even chosen to watch if it hadn't have been for being dragged in there kicking and screaming to the cinema by my wife all those years ago. So check it out, guys, if you've never seen it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.